If I asked you right now whether your will controls everything you own, most people would say yes, and most people would be wrong. A whole lot of what you own doesn't get touched by your will at all. Your life insurance, your retirement accounts, the house you own with your spouse, none of it cares what your will says. So before you decide whether you need a will, a trust, or both, you need to understand how your assets actually move when you're gone, because the legal system follows the paperwork, not what you meant to happen. I'm Omeed, an estate planning attorney here in California, and I've helped dozens of families set this up the right way and stay out of probate court. So in today's video, I'll break down exactly what the difference is between a will and a trust, which one you actually need, and the mistakes that usually cost families the most. What a will actually is. So let's start with the will, because it's the one everybody's heard of and it's the one everybody misunderstands. A will is a document that says who gets your stuff when you die. It also lets you name an executor. That's the person responsible for carrying out your wishes. And it lets you name a guardian for your kids, which we'll come back to because it's a big one. Here's the thing though, a will has zero power while you're alive. Can't manage anything, it can't move anything, it just sits in a drawer. It only kicks in after you die. And here's what catches people off guard. A will does not let you skip probate. In fact, a will is the first step into probate, not a way around it. So when you pass, the will gets handed to a court, and that's where the process begins. So here are the 3 things a will can't do. There are 3 problems with relying on a will by itself, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. Number 1, it doesn't avoid probate. What is probate? Probate is a court-supervised process for transferring your assets. It can take months, sometimes a lot longer. In California, it takes 9 to 24 months to move through uncontested probate processes, and the fees are between 4 to 7% of your estate's value. So if your estate is worth $1 million, you can expect to pay between $40,000 to $70,000 in fees alone. Number 2, it's public. Once your will goes through probate, it becomes part of the public record. Anyone can see what you owned, who got what, and who didn't. Number 3, it does nothing if you're alive but incapacitated. A will only speaks after death. If you have a stroke or develop dementia and can't manage your own affairs, your will sit there useless. How your stuff actually moves. So this is the part that makes everything else click, and almost nobody explains it. When you die, your assets move in one of 3 ways, and only one of them is your will. The first way is by contract. This is your beneficiary forms, retirement accounts, life insurance, payable on death accounts. If you named a beneficiary, that money goes straight to that person. No court, no will. And this is important. If your will says one thing and your beneficiary form says another, the beneficiary form wins every single time. The second way is by title. This is how something is owned. If you own your house jointly with your spouse with rights of survivorship, your spouse just becomes the full owner automatically. Doesn't matter what your will says. I've seen people leave their half of the house to a kid in their will, and it means nothing because the title controls it. The third way is probate, and this is the only bucket your will actually controls. Anything with no beneficiary, no joint owner, nothing else directing it, that's what goes through probate. So your will is really only steering one of these 3 buckets. Once you understand that, the whole will versus trust question gets a lot simpler, because now you can see what each one actually is for. What a trust does differently. Let's talk about the trust. Specifically, a revocable living trust, because that's what most people mean when they say the word trust. While you're alive and well, nothing really changes. You're still in control, you can buy and sell, you can change it, you can cancel it, you basically run your money the same way you do now. But here's what gives you that which a will can't. First, it can skip probate, but only if it's funded. And I need you to hear that word, funded. Creating the document isn't enough. You have to actually retitle your assets into the trust's name. An unfunded trust is just expensive paper. It does nothing for you. Funding just means retitling your stuff into the trust's name. Signing a new deed to put the house in the trust, going to the bank to move your accounts over, that's what funding your trust is. Second, the trust stays private. There's no court filings, so your business stays your business. And third, and this is the one I care about most, it works if you're incapacitated. If something happens to you and you can't manage your own affairs, the person you chose, your successor trustee, can step right in. No court, no waiting, no asking permission. And fourth, it lets you control the timing and the conditions. You can say someone gets their share at 25 instead of all at once at 18. You can stagger it out. You can build in protections, because handing a large inheritance to an 18-year-old is a scary thing for a lot of parents, understandably. Now, real quick, if you're trying to work out whether you need a will, a trust, or both, I do free consultations. There's a link in the description below to book a free consultation with me directly, no pressure. If you book a call, I'll help you navigate what works best for you and your family. Okay, let's get back to the video. Do you actually need a trust? Now, here's where I'm going to be straight with you in a way a lot of people online won't. Not everyone needs a trust. A will might be completely fine for you if your estate is fairly simple. Most of your assets already passed by beneficiary, like retirement accounts and life insurance. You don't have a lot of standalone property that would land in probate. And your family situation is pretty straightforward. A trust starts to make real sense when you want to keep your family out of probate altogether. Privacy actually matters to you. You own property in more than one state, because otherwise you could face probate in each of those states. You're worried about what happens if you're incapacitated, or your family is more complex, like a second marriage, a blended family, or kids you want to protect with some structure. The honest answer is it depends on your life, not on whatever the internet told you to buy. So let's clear up the myths. Now, there's a lot of myths out there about trusts, and I want to clear a few of the most common ones. Myth 1, trusts are only for rich people. Not true. A trust is for anyone with a home, with kids, or who just wants to make life easier on the people they leave behind. Myth 2, a trust helps you avoid taxes. A revocable trust does not reduce your estate taxes. Because you keep full control of those assets, the IRS still counts them as yours. Control and taxes are tied together. When you keep control, it's still your estate, so there's still tax. Myth 3, just having a trust avoids probate. Not true. It only avoids probate if you fund it. I'll say it again because it's the single most expensive mistake I see, and it's what my firm focuses on helping people with. An unfunded trust does nothing. Lastly, if you have minor kids, there is one thing only a will can do, and that's name a guardian. A trust can't do it. A beneficiary form can't do it. The only place you can legally say who raises your children is in a will. So if you've got kids, this is almost never a will versus trust decision. It's usually both. The trust handles your assets, the will protects your children. That's why for most families with kids, the best answer isn't one or the other, it's getting both pieces in place. So here's where I'll leave it. A will and a trust aren't really competing with each other. They do different jobs. The right answer for you depends on your assets, your family, and what you're trying to protect. And that's honestly the whole point of sitting down with someone before you make the call. So if you want a real answer for your situation, not a guess, click the link in the description and book a free consultation with me. We'll look at what you've got, figure out what actually fits your situation the best, and get it handled so your family never has to. So again, book your consultation using the link below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.